Hello. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be watching at this time. My name is Ivner with Ivner Dorso Live. Today I have a special guest. It's a really special guest. It's a singer, songwriter, voiceover actor residing in the UK, United Kingdom. Amy, and her name is Amy Sinha. And I hope I say her name correctly. And if not, she's going to be correcting me. She was born in South Wales in the UK. So she's gonna tell us more about her. And music is something that I like a lot. And I was born in a family. My ancestors, they were musicians. In fact, they uh, invented the Haitian music genre, which we call compa, the Durasos. And and every time I have an opportunity to speak to a singer, songwriter, musician, it's such an excitement for me. So without further ado, I will now introduce my guest today, Amy Sinha.
Hi,
Hello, Amy. How are you?
thank you. Yes, you did say my name right.
I did say
Well
your
done.
name correctly. I'm so happy to finally meet you. Oh man, I have to tell you, I had an opportunity to listen to some of your music. You have an incredible voice.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, you do have an incredible voice, and and I know I'm not putting any pressure on you, but I know, uh, but I think it will be great if you can bless the audience with a little bit of it.
Oh,
How
okay,
are you?
well later.
So, what time is it right now in South Wales?
11 p.m. It's quite
11 p.m. Oh
late.
my
Yeah,
goodness. Wow, sleeping time.
it is. See, I stayed awake just for you. Look at that.
Thank you so much. It is now 5 p.m. Central in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Ah,
So,
Oklahoma. I haven't actually seen the musical.
say that again.
I haven't seen that musical yet. I've seen
Okay.
all the other musicals, not Oklahoma.
Okay. Yes. So, have you been to the States?
No, and I'm quite surprised because I would have thought that I would have done so by now, but no, no.
Well, soon. Maybe you're gonna have a big tour in 2022 where you will be traveling the whole country.
Absolutely, I would love that.
Absolutely. Now, you have another guest, right, Corey?
I have another what? Sorry.
Do you have another guest? Did you invite another someone else to the live?
Oh no, I haven't. Have I?
Okay, all right, okay. Maybe someone watching and they got the link and they wanted to watch. Awesome. So great. So tell me, how did you start with music?
Okay, so you know what? It's just the first thing that I remember.
Hmm.
Music was just always around. So I do have a musical family.
Hmm.
My mum was really rather musical, and I have two older sisters. So I just remember singing in the car whenever we went on long journeys. We would
Hmm.
just sing random songs. Now I can understand how annoying that would have been for my parents. But at the time, it was just like really, really something that we just loved to do and harmonize. So yeah, I just remember doing it. There's not a time when I don't remember music being a focal point of my life.
Great. Like, so your songs, I had a chance to listen to a few of them. So, what is your main inspiration as far as the songs that you write? What is your main inspiration? Is it nature? Is it just life in general? Is it love? What is it?
I think it's life in general and all the things that happen in life. I think a lot of songs are focused on romance. Obviously, that takes up a lot of people's time. But I think, especially with my first album, they were mostly to do with my thoughts. And I do have a lot of random thoughts that go around in my head all the time. It's kind of like constant. So I think that first album was just to focus and get all of those thoughts out of my head and onto paper and onto music and for an outlet so that it would just dissipate from my mind. So then it would be free. My mind would be free to hold other thoughts. So I think really that's where the main bulk of the songs have come from. Then later on, I guess it kind of did focus on, I guess, more romance.
Wow, I can tell you are so popular because people start sending flowers to you right now. Tuttle just
Oh,
said that Amy is a great talent. Hello,
okay.
Tuttle. How are you?
Yeah, thank you. He's a great friend.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah. So, and I understand also you are not just a singer, songwriter. You're also a voiceover artist.
I am, yeah. So I started the voiceovers at the end of 2019, which it was probably a good thing because of obviously the pandemic hit, a few months later after that. So yeah, I did. I kind of created a little studio in my home, and I just kind of put myself out there, and I got some really great feedback. So I thought I would just pursue it, and I found that I really, really loved it. It's not something that I would have thought that I'd be doing, in all honesty, because I never thought of myself as a great speaker. I was very shy growing up as a child, so talking was quite difficult for me. So this is all kind of new. It's great though. I do love it, and I'm glad that it's kind of mixing with the music as well. So people are asking me to sing in the voiceovers as well as speaking. So yeah, I do that as well.
That is pretty awesome. And and I'm going to share a little bit with the audience about all the different types of voiceover that you offer. Like, oh, and I was like so shocked to see all the different types of voiceover that you provide. And I saw some, like, journalism, and you all different types, affirmation, meditation, comedy sketch. Wow, you are so talented, and
Oh,
your
thank you.
friend is so right about you.
Oh.
So how do you manage to come up with all of these different voices?
Um, I don't know. I guess obviously I've got my voice right now. My accent is a general British
Mhm.
English, but I find
I
that I can.
love the British accent, by the way.
Thank you. But I can do like a very posh, like the Queen's accent. So it's very, very RP, it's called. And a lot of Americans like the RP, the Queen's English voice a lot. But I do live in Wales. So I can go into a Welsh accent when I think about it. And so those kind of accents I kind of got down. And then when I was doing the singing, I used to love doing Disney. So I think the characters. I used to like portraying the characters. So I find that now that I'm speaking, I can also do children's voices as well. So I kind of like to test them out and see if I can do it. And even if I can't do very well, I'll just put myself out there and then we're
Let's try.
gonna practice kind of learn how to do it.
So let's try the children voice.
The children's voice. Wait, when you speak. Oh, okay, that's it. Hi, my name is Amy, and I'm. Well, I can't remember what to say now.
Wow. Oh man, that is so much fun. You know, and I try to do voices, like, in comedy, because when I was growing up, my older brother, Fernell, we used to go to different churches and do comedy sketches. And we would do voices, and we would walk certain way, just to make people laugh. So uh, I did a lot of comedy growing up as well. So
Oh wow.
yeah, it does require a lot of practice.
I can imagine. Are you like scared that people won't laugh?
Yes, it does require a lot of practice. So keep up the good work. Now, as far as the accents, have you done any American accent? Because I've been watching a lot of. There are a few actors that I like a lot, and
Yeah.
and it wasn't until I started looking for videos of them, when they're not acting, and I realized they're from the UK. For example, my goodness, this girl, she used to be in a show called The Good Doctor,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
and she used to be in a show called The Good Doctor, and I will give you her name. She plays the role of Dr. Claire Brown, Antonia Thomas. In the show, she has a perfect American accent. But when you watch her YouTube videos, like when she's having interviews, she has a UK accent. I'm like, whoa, how can you do that?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of a lot of. I mean, I've tried an American accent. I tried it out on Tuttle, who just commented because he lives in Florida. So I was
Mhm,
like, kind of trying my American accent out. I was going to go into it then, and I thought, no, better off it. So I kind of can go into it if you immerse yourself. Like I can go into an Indian accent if I'm kind of
mhm.
listening specifically to like Indian people speaking Hindi. It kind of comes to you. So before I have to do anything, I kind of listen. a lot
Hmm.
to those kind of accents just to get a flavor, and then I kind of practice. And then I find that I can do it when I'm actually in that state. Otherwise,
Right.
I just find it a little bit hard to get into if I'm just like randomly,
So
talking.
you don't do too much of American accent.
I can do. I can do. But the problem with my accent, America, and I know like England, we have so many different English accents, but America, you guys have so many different dialects. I met a lot of New York people, and again within New York, you've got a lot of Long Island, and then actual genuine New
Mhm.
Yorkers. And then the people who live in the South, I love the Southern accent. I really do. I love the Southern American accent, and that again, that's different. But again, it varies from like Georgia to Savannah to Florida, or parts of Florida to it's yeah. So I don't know what I don't know what my accent is. If I go into an American accent, probably like a general, but I'm not sure.
Well, we will come back. We're gonna take a short break. We will come back, and when we come back, I'd like you to try a little bit of something for me. All right, we'll be back. So we'll be back with Amy Sinha. You are now watching live on. We're broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch and LinkedIn at the same time. I am with singer-songwriter and voiceover artist Amy Sinha, residing. She lives in the UK. She's an amazing talent. We'll be back with her after this short break.
Every day when we wake up to a world ruled by fear, blinded by hatred, and ripped apart by differences. On some days, we're the victims, and on others, the perpetrators. Humanity is breached by a huge divide, and every day the tear gets worse. Millions of people are affected. How can we heal the world?
All right, we are back. I am back with Amy Sinha. She is a UK artist, very talented singer, songwriter, and voiceover artist. And Amy, as we talked earlier, I'd like you to try a little bit of the American accent for me because I love accent. I'm from Haiti. I'm from Haiti. People always say, "Oh, you have an accent. I like your accent," and because I just I'm so in love with accents in general, whether it's Spanish accent or a French accent, a UK accent. I just love accents, and that's why I keep my accent. See, I would not trade my accent for anything.
You have a great accent. I like your accent.
Thank you, thank you. So I'm from Haiti. So in Haiti we speak Haitian Creole and
Oh.
French. So
I love French. I love French. I can sing it.
yes.
I can sing in French. Well, I
Yeah.
can sing a few things in French.
Oh, you just get yourself another question. So, but let's try the American accent first.
All right. I watch a lot of Catfish, and this is a phrase that I picked up. Saying on camera, like, oh my God, are you like super excited right now?
Oh,
That is my Neve accent. There you go.
wow. Have you thought, do you have any aspiration for acting, like movie, film?
Um, I never thought I would do the voiceovers. So the fact that I'm doing this is kind of new. And people did say, I mean, I've got quite an expressive face. So people did say, why don't you go into acting? I'm not sure. I'm a bit dubious. Maybe if I got a part, maybe. You never know. You never know.
So what's the goal? Is it you want to continue doing singing, voiceover, or do you plan to do anything else? Book writing, or film shows?
I have always wanted to write a book. So I do have, especially about my life, I've kind of I'm putting together kind of like some short stories. So that is one thing that I would love to do. I love children's, everything to do with children's books as well. So I was
Mhm.
actually started before the pandemic and actually started to write a children's story. But I would also love to continue with the voiceovers and the singing. I want to do everything. I don't want to kind of limit myself going, right, I want to do this and now I'm going to stop and I'm going to do this. I kind of think of myself as adding things to
Mhm.
what I can do already. So I think like people used to, ask me over the past year, are you still a singer? And I was like, well, yeah, I'll always be a singer because that's who I am. I'm not trying to be a singer. I am a singer. So, and now it's with the voiceover artist. So I am a voiceover artist. So it's just adding to all of those things. So it's not leaving anything behind.
Right, right, right. I'm trying to get ready to play one of your songs.
Oh.
So you just mentioned about your story. Would you tell the audience a bit about your story and as far as your passion for music and just art in general?
Yeah, so I had kind of a hard start growing up. I suffered from quite a few disabilities, so I had cataracts. I can't really see very well. I also had this rare medical condition called called gosh, I can't remember now. I say it so much that I can't remember the name. So it's neuropathy type 2. It means that I can't feel hot or cold anywhere on my body, only in my mouth. It also meant that I developed osteoarthritis at the age
Mhm.
of 9, and it meant that I stopped growing at the age of 11. So all of this stuff together was kind of a big confidence issue that I had growing up, and it was very difficult. But I guess like being small, I mean, it was always been hard for me because people just used to stare at me wherever I went, and I used to absolutely hate that. But then on the flip side, people would always recognize where I went. They know who I was, even if I couldn't recognize them. They'd always recognize me, which was a selling point when it came to the music and when I used to perform. Everyone used to know who I was when I used to go to places, and so that was good. It's taken a long time to get over certain things and to deal with and like accept myself for who I am. That's kind of been a difficult one, but I think the music has kind of been a progression towards that, and especially the voiceover as well. I think it just all ties together. This past year, I've kind of been more confident with being who I am. I used to think of myself as some alien that nobody would understand, but I've realized that there are far worse aliens out there, and I'm probably just the within them, so to speak. So yeah, that's kind of my journey. It's been a long one. I kind of experienced a lot for someone young and then growing up. But I think that I always say you wouldn't be the person that you are without going through all of the hardships. And I do love who I
Absolutely.
am, so I can't say that I wish these things didn't happen because then I wouldn't be who I am. Yeah.
Right, right, right. So so you would say that music is what really allowed you to discover who you are
Yeah, I think it was. It was
through music.
definitely it was an amazing outlet. I mean, I never thought that I could write songs. I put so many blocks in my head thinking, oh, you can't do this. I had so many restrictions. So it was hard to, find ways to work around the restrictions to get to where I wanted to be. I mean, when I was younger, I loved Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston, and they were my role models. But
Oh,
then
Whitney
they
Houston. Oh my
weren't, Yeah, exactly. Especially Mariah Carey, I could do all of those little twiddly bits. Hero was like my go-to song. I was good at copying things, but you didn't see any like diversity of musicians. I mean, you had Stevie Wonder, but that was a couple, but that was about it. So I didn't have any role models of like a disabled kind of nature. So I didn't know really realistically how I was going to do it, even though I really wanted to be out there, be famous for singing. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't see it as reality. So I think those kind of blocks were in my mind when I was performing, which held me back a lot. Now, looking back, I realized that maybe I didn't really want to do it because I didn't, I suffered so much that I didn't have the confidence to do it. But it took me a while just to discover what, who I was and what I really wanted to do. So, yeah, but there's you talk about role models. There were so many back in, the 80s and 90s, musically, the role models to do with music that you could aspire, the 70s soul, Luther Vandross. I mean, it's just,
Oh,
so
Luther Vandross. I like Luther. Yeah,
Luther.
Luther is an amazing singer.
Absolutely, yeah. So I listened to some great music growing up. So
Awesome, awesome. Wow. So, do you have any album on iTunes right now? Do you sell albums on Amazon? And how's that going right now for you?
yeah, so all the music that I've done. So I've done an album. I also collaborated with a record label in New York. So put out a couple of singles with them as well, and 3 singles, kind of like countryish world music, more recent. So everything is on all the platforms, on iTunes, Spotify, CD Baby, everything. Yeah.
Okay. Now we're gonna take a break, but this break this time we're gonna play one of your songs.
Okay.
Eyes that shine so bright that I can see the light as the darkness slowly slips away. I need you here to stay with me tonight.
A smile that brings me hope when I struggle to cope with all the worries on my mind. I need you here to stay with me tonight. Well, I feel so lucky to know that you're with me now.
I feel so lucky to have found someone to hold on to.
Wow, wow. I'm sure you saw me jamming. Oh my goodness. That I selected that song because in all of the songs that I listened to, that was my favorite.
Aw, thank you very much.
What's the inspiration behind that song, Amy?
Oh, um, I think at that time I was really obsessed with Nashville, the TV show. And I just started to love, I mean, I love country music, but it was
Mhm.
like, introducing me to a new type of country.
Why don't you move to Oklahoma?
I did get approached by this record label in Nashville. This was years ago, and they were like, "We really love your voice, and we just want you. We want to write some songs for you." But for some reason, again, it's the confidence issue. I was like, "Oh no, I couldn't." I look back, and I was thinking, "Oh, maybe it just wasn't meant to be." But yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, that was. I think that was, and I just really, really wanted to. So there's a lot of things that I kind of want to tick the boxes, the things that I've
Mhm.
done, and singing a duet was one that I'd never done before. So I thought, well, if I write it, then I can just, find somebody to sing it. And I did. And I found John Sudbury, and he played the guitar as well. And he was amazing. He was touring at the time with country rock artist from America. So he was kind of really good with the whole country guitar. So yeah, that was. But I also wanted to write a love song because my
Mhm.
love life hasn't been so great over the years, but I wanted to write something positive, and I didn't want to write anything negative, and surprisingly enough, that just came, and then yeah, it just came together. So that is one of my favorite songs. I'm proud that I wrote that.
Wow, wow. So it is my favorite song, of course, and because and a duet and both voices. I mean, and this other artist too is also amazing. Uh, is he in the UK or is from somewhere else?
No, he's from the UK as well. So he lives in Swansea, where I live, and I met him. I was doing an interview. I said that he was touring America with this woman called Stacey Collins, musician, country artist, and I was interviewing Stacey, and he was in the studio, so that's how we kind of met. So it's strange how things like one thing leads to another, and one
Right.
person, kind of helps you, or just for that moment, and yeah.
Awesome, pretty awesome. Now, if somebody would like to, and this is a live, we're on a global platform. If someone would like to book you to come and sing at a party, an event, how can they get in touch with you? The
Well, they
manager?
can.
Is it you are your own manager? Is it someone else is a manager? How do they get in touch with you?
Well, I can just use the email, amy@amysinha.com. But that's probably the best way. Or look on my website because all of my contact details
And I
are
will put your website right here for the audience to see.
amysinha.com.
Yes, and yes, let me put your website right here so the audience can see how they can contact you. It's amysinha.com.
Right.
Yeah. So, what do you usually perform?
Well, before COVID hit, when I was actually doing it, I was doing probably everything. So, I mean, I graduated from College of Music in Leeds, and I specialized in jazz. So I was touring, doing a lot of jazz music, and so I perform with bands, go to jazz clubs, and then I kind of progressed, or not progressed, but kind of added to the bow. So I love, I don't just love singing jazz. So I've grown up singing soul, country, everything, pop, indie, R&B, reggae. I used to love Shaggy. Again, he was one of my favorite artists back in the day. So I love singing everything. So I love performing. So I used to perform with a band. I've performed with a couple of bands over the years, and I would just do literally all the songs that I just always wanted to do, and it was a great outlet. And then we'd go out and we'd do weddings, and we'd perform at clubs, and just do things like that. I kind of like approach things of things that I want to do, and then somehow the opportunity kind of seems to come to me. So, and because I have like mobility issues, I can't travel or walk around so much. So
Mhm.
I always used to think about how it was going to happen. And this is where I say the power of the mind is a very powerful
Oh,
thing.
yes.
So I used to all the things that I wanted to do, I'd write them down. And it's the same with the interviews. So I wasn't very good at speaking, but I knew as a singer you had to, be able to hold your own over a microphone. So the way that I kind of combated that was to go out there and interview jazz musicians that came to Swansea, and then I made a YouTube channel.
Mhm.
And it literally was just very, very soon after I decided to do this that I just got these opportunities to interview quite, well-known jazz musicians. So I was interviewing the musicians from Ronnie Scott's in London who would be regulars then. And then suddenly, somehow, I got to interview jazz legend. It's amazing. He was around in the 60s, called Buddy Greco. He was like my hero at the time, and I got to interview him. And then I also got to interview Kyle Eastwood, Clint Eastwood's son, because he came to Swansea. He lived in Paris as well, and he was, touring. And so I just put the thoughts out there, and then it kind of comes to me. And I've realized that happens with a lot of things that I want to do. So now I kind of just focus on everything that I want to do, and just give it time. I am quite impatient, so sometimes I'm like, oh, it's not happening, but forget about it, and then it just seems to come to me.
Yes. So this evening, Amy, is all about you. There's one other song of yours I'm going to play.
Okay.
And before I ask you the next question, I saw something in your bio that was quite interesting. I wanted to talk to you about. So
Okay.
let's go ahead and take a short break. But it's not a break where we'll not be here. We'll still be here. We'll just be here listening to Amy and watching Amy singing in this video.
World Music Stage Radio. Top 10 Countdown. Song number 4.
Well, born in Wales, UK, Amy Sinha studied classical piano and singing, and in her teens developed a love affair with jazz. She went on to graduate from Leeds College of Music with influences such as Sinatra and Sarah Vaughan and Ella Fitzgerald, and a voice that's been described as silky smooth. Amy caught the attention of some of the best jazz musicians in all of the United Kingdom, and now Amy's collaborated with an independent record label based in New York City. And on our World Music Stage Radio Top 10 Countdown hotline, Amy Sinha. Hi, Amy.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
Good.
All right. Yeah, you just mentioned that. So you collaborated with jazz musicians a lot, more jazz than any other genre. Why is
Yeah.
that?
It's always been a passion of mine. I just used to love it. I can't explain why. Maybe because I just love the different layers to jazz music. I love the complexities of what it was offering. I love the different instruments, and just the compositions of just the way it would come together, and even the lyrics. And I know that probably make me sound really old or whatever, but they really don't write songs as they used to, like Johnny Mercer and George and Ira Gershwin, and the lyrics are just so like you could just like immerse yourself in it because it had so many different meanings for where you are at any point of your life. And I just loved it. And so then I went to study it in music college, and that's when they kind of brainwashed me to kind of believe that jazz was the only genre in the world that was worth anything. So I just loved it. It took a lot to get that thinking out of my head that other music was good as well. But at that time, so I just loved everything jazz. Like I could listen to a 10-minute saxophone solo. That's how kind of like immersed I kind of was. And but although now I'm just kind of like, I can't listen to it as much as I used to. I used to love it. I think maybe over the years my mind has become less complicated as I've dealt with certain issues. And I think that the need that I had for that kind of layering, so to speak, it's not a necessity for me now. But yeah, no, I loved it. I just love, I love instruments. I love the saxophone. I love the piano. I love jazz violin. It's just something about music, instrumental music, that is just it's just something magical, and it can just like transport you to anywhere if you just close your eyes and you just listen to it, like a cafe in Paris, or in New York, the Blue Note in New York. And I think that's what I just love about jazz. It can just take you anywhere.
Yeah. In 2012, you released your debut album, A Sin with Love, uh, in which all the songs were self-composed. So you wrote all of those songs.
Yeah.
So what was the inspiration? Because A Sin with Love is just such a thought-provoking title. Uh,
Oh, thank
what
you.
what inspired you to put together that album?
I think up until that point, I was a singer, and I wanted to be a famous singer. But there are so many hundreds of singers out there that you're competing in a pool. It's just unless you have a unique selling point, it's just not going to happen.
Right.
So I got to that point, and I was like, right, okay, I've reached a wall. Well, what do I do now? And the only thing that I could think of was to write my own music. And as I said before, I never thought that it was something I could do. But the thing with me is once I get something into my head, that's it. I have to do it. I have to see it through. So I was like, no, I'm going to do this. So I sat down at the piano and I wrote a song. So I thought, oh gosh, and it came actually quite easily. I was quite shocked. I was like, oh my gosh, this is quite easy. Well, if I've written one song, why don't I just write an album? So in a matter of a couple of weeks, I kind of wrote 9 songs, and I already had a band that I was playing with, and they really helped me kind of put the music together and just practice and play it and kind of uh, just make it to what it is on the album. So that was the thought, though. Again, it was my thoughts. I was a little bit obsessed with Facebook. It was new. It was a new thing, and I think I used to go to sleep in status updates. It was that kind of like that obsessive. Yeah. So I thought I'd take my status updates and kind of make an album, and it kind of seemed to work, I think. But the music on the album kind of incorporated a lot of genres. So growing up, so it would
Right.
be, I think it was a lot of jazz, a blues. There's a lot of there's classical one to do with a vampire at the end. So it was kind of a lot of one gospel song as well, because I love all that. So it's kind of just
Oh, even
yeah,
gospel
so,
songs.
yeah. So it's kind of like everything that I've influenced, and I think you can't live in a society and not be influenced by a lot of music. I think unless obviously you're living in a like maybe when you're in a blues,
Mhm.
in a particular place that only immerse yourself in blues music or country and things like that. But I was living at the time where everything was just the 80s and 90s. Now this like everything was just kept throwing at you. So Boys to Men, I used to absolutely love Boys to Men. So
Oh, yes, yes. Boys to Men,
Boyz II Men.
man, they used to be. I mean, I think they're still performing.
Are they?
But yes, yes. But they used to be very, very popular. I remember back in the early 2000, and I was still listening to Boys to Men. And there was Boys to Men. There's Casey and JoJo.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
were so popular,
yeah.
and I remember I had a membership. I had a subscription with BMG, Sony BMG,
Yeah.
and I used to just every time the CDs come out, I just order the CDs.
Yeah, and then hip
Yeah.
hop, hip hop was big after that time. It was like Usher and
Yes, yes, they used to be very big, but
yeah,
not so much. See,
no,
not so much. See, I love music. See, like see your style of music I like, because I had a professor, I had a teacher in high school. He would always say that music was meant to teach. So if music is not teaching me something,
yeah.
it's not inspiring me. To me, it's not music. And you do a very good job with your songwriting. So I have to
Oh,
say
thank you.
that
Oh,
with your songwriting, and I think it's your story that makes you so inspiring.
thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
and you talk about your challenges. So would you say that it's your challenges that really make you who you are as an artist? Because
Yeah, it must though, isn't it? I mean, I can't say that it doesn't. I think everyone's, childhood and how they were raised kind of has an influence on them and everything that they've experienced. I mean, nobody, well, lucky people haven't gone through something, in their childhood to teenagehood. But I think if you don't go through challenges in your young life, you won't be prepared to handle them in adult life.
Oh
And I
yes,
think I'm
that's
quite
powerful.
resilient. Yeah, I'm quite resilient because of that. So I'm grateful for that. Not much can kind of phase me. But then the other side of that was because I had so many things going on, I kind of put a block and I kind of tried to protect myself because I didn't want to, because there was just so much going on, negative stuff going on that I kind of closed myself off. And that was the downside. So again, it took a long time to then open myself up and trust people and trust my friends to actually be honest. There's a lot of, especially men, that go through life, and I wasn't honest. I never told them much about myself, and that was my fault as well. But things like that, kind of, that's the downside of having all the challenges growing up. But then it is what it is.
We all face challenges.
Yeah,
That's part of us being human.
exactly.
We are going to have challenges. The only place on earth where you don't experience any challenges is the cemetery. It's a cemetery. Unfortunately, that's the reality. So until we are on this earth,
Mm,
we'll always have problems. We will always have challenges.
right. And it's how you deal with them, isn't it? It's how you deal with the challenges and how you see them. You see them as big, or you can see them as something that absolutely, no, I can get over this. It'll just take a little bit of perseverance and time. That's all. So I think it is good to have challenges, just to make you, just to yeah, just to prepare you for what's coming next. I think.
Yeah. So, in speaking of next, we're getting close to the end of the show. We're gonna take a short commercial break because we have to make the sponsors happy, and then when we'll be back. All right. We are back with Amy Sinha, singer, songwriter, voiceover artist in the UK. She's an amazing talent. Uh, she's here to tell us her story, which is so inspiring. And Amy, this show, and I created this show to find people like yourself, people who are making a great contribution to the world, people working every single day to be a hero, to be a superhero on a mission to change the world. How do you use music to help heal the human race?
To what? Sorry. How do I use
How do
music?
you use music, your talent, your art, to help heal the human race?
That's a big question. um, Gosh, how do I do that? Okay. Well, you know what? I think um, a lot of people, especially over this past year, the word that's become quite popular is authenticity, isn't it? We're all searching for real. We want to be real. We want to connect. We want to connect with people who are real, who we can have a connection with, who we can have a conversation with. And I think through my journey of that, of being who I am, I think, and putting it out there, and kind of just letting people know that there are different people who have differences, like on an international level, I think that can help people understand that maybe their lives are not so difficult or as bad as they make out. I mean, look, we're all ourselves. We all care about us, isn't it? I mean, we care about the world. Don't get me wrong, but we live in ourselves, so our problems are big compared to everybody else. But it's like soaps. Like I used to love watching American daytime soap operas when I was younger, and it would just be so dramatic, and you're just like, oh my gosh! But somebody's killing somebody else, or somebody's having an affair with somebody's sister, and you're just like, thank God that my life is not as bad as that. So I think, but instead of soap operas, we just want real people. So if I could show that maybe, my life hasn't been that great, because all the things I have to deal with, maybe it will help people to go, their life is not so bad and so difficult, so they can get over what they're going through just with a little bit of help. Because again, it's hard to ask for help. I find it hard, even though I've had to do it all of my life. I still find it hard to ask for help, but help is there, and people just need to be aware that if you need something, you can get it, you can get help, and you don't have to be alone. So I think that would be my maybe that's what I'm here for, or what I've been doing now, to maybe help just realize that, maybe just like just like a minute little bit to have that thought in their head going, no, I can reach out. So that's what I would like to maybe influence the world with my music as well.
Very powerful, very powerful. You said something that is very interesting. Sometimes you see people like, they have problems, right? And they think that their problems is the worst problem, which is not true. There's always someone
Yeah.
going through something worse than you. There's a Haitian, and I'm from Haiti. There's a Haitian saying, and I just explain it to you. So the story says there was a man who had a lot of problems. He had a lot of problems. He either couldn't pay his bills. He had so much problems, and one day he decided to end his life. And he took a rope, and he saw a tree. He began climbing the tree. Once he got on top of the tree, to hang himself, to commit suicide, because he said, like, my life is so bad, my life is so horrible, life has no meaning to me anymore, I don't have any choice, I have to end my life. Right before he started, he was about to put the rope around his neck to end his life, because he couldn't find no food to eat, he couldn't pay his bills, he was going to end his life. Then he had one last piece of bread in his pocket. And he said, before I end my life, I'm going to eat that last piece of bread. And while he was eating that piece of bread, and breadcrumbs were falling, and he saw somebody else coming, picking up those breadcrumbs on the ground. And he said, wow, I'm eating a piece of bread. That's all I have left. And I'm about to end my life. I have a piece of bread. And look at this guy on the ground, under the tree, picking up the breadcrumbs. And at that point, he made a realization that, you know what? There is someone going through worst. There is someone, their pain is so much worse than mine. At that moment, he decided to get down. He decided not to end his life anymore. So the moral of the story is, it doesn't matter what's going on in your life. It doesn't matter how bad things appear to be. There's someone, somewhere. It may not be in your country. It may not be in your continent, but somewhere in the world, someone is going through so much worse. So That is very inspiring to know that you can use your story to inspire people and to let them know it doesn't matter what the situation may be. They need to keep on going. They need to keep on moving.
Yeah. And we all need that. There's always there's always somebody worse off. And I always say things do look better in the morning. The night, the darkness has this way of kind of twisting your mind,
Mhm.
and I don't know what it is. And things just look, oh my God, like sometimes they look hopeless. And then you wake up and you're thinking, I don't know what, what big deal. It doesn't look so as bad as it did last night. So, it's always to take a deep breath, go to sleep. If you're in any negative thoughts, just take a nap, go to sleep, wake up, then you'll probably feel better for it.
Yes. Here's the thing that I tell people. I said, you know what? It doesn't matter what your situation is right now, but I want you to know something that is not permanent. There is not a situation that is permanent.
Yeah.
It's temporary. You just got to give it time and keep working and keep pushing in your life. And at some point in the morning, it's going to be a brand new day.
Exactly.
It's going to be a brand new day. You just have to keep pushing. If you still have breath in your lungs, if you still can breathe, that's for a reason. It's because there's hope.
Yeah.
There's a plan for your life. So thank you so much, Amy. And that last piece really inspired me. And you were thinking, oh, you're gonna play this video to inspire the whole world, but you inspired me first of all. So,
Aw.
so thank you.
Thank you very much.
So
And
thank
thank
you.
you for asking me to be on.
Yes, and this video is gonna be on my website as well,
Okay.
and it's on YouTube, on LinkedIn. You can always share it on your page, and if you want, I can send you the link.
Yeah.
I can not the link. I can send you the whole YouTube video
Ah,
or the MP4 file if I'm able to download it. So it's been such an honor to hang out with you on this beautiful Saturday afternoon, and it's now going to be midnight for you, but you made the
yes.
time.
Gosh,
You
I
made
turned into a
the time.
pumpkin now. See, this is good. You're ending it just before 12 o'clock because it's like,
Yes, you made the time to speak with me, and I really appreciate you.
my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Any final words that you want to say to the audience?
Oh, well, I would just say, well, on a personal note, I love meeting new people. This whole way of interacting during the pandemic, I guess, this whole networking thing with podcasts. I love meeting new people, and I met some really interesting people over the past year and made some amazing friends. So, if you want to reach out, say hi, if you have any stories to share that you'd like me to hear, then please get in touch. And I loved hearing different people's stories, and anything I can help with anyone, then please let me know. Yeah, that's all.
All right, awesome. And I put the website again on the screen to contact Amy at amysinha.com. If you're looking for a singer or someone to do your voiceover, you're writing a book, uh, any comedy sketch, go to amysinha.com to find more about what she offers. And she's an amazing talent, and she's here to serve you. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, she's able to serve you. She's able to provide her services to you. Thank you so much, Amy. And again, my name is Yvener Durso. You're watching Yvener Durso with Yvener Live, Yvener Durso Live, or Live with Yvener Durso if you want to mix it the other way. So it was such an honor to hang out with you on this platform, on this global platform. Thank you so much, and you have a wonderful evening. And have a good evening, everyone, or have a good
Bye.
morning, wherever you may be watching.
Every day when we wake up to a world ruled by fear, blinded by hatred, and ripped apart by differences. On some days, we're the victims, and on others, the perpetrators. Humanity is breached by a huge divide, and every day, the tear gets worse. Millions of people are affected. How can we heal the world?